What's up guys, Jacob here, and today we're going to be talking about guilty pleasure movies. And if you don't know what a guilty pleasure movie is, it's essentially a movie that everybody, the main consensus is that the movie sucks, yet for some reason, I love it. And the weird thing is, when I was coming up with my list of my top 3 guilty pleasure films, it was really hard for me to do because when it comes to me liking movies that critics don't necessarily like, there's kind of a lot of those. And whenever I review movies and stuff, I want to be honest with you guys, so that's why I say if I think that a movie is good, I'm going to tell you that it's good even if everybody else says that it sucks. That being said though, I can 100% see why people think that these movies that I'm about to tell you suck, but I still enjoy them for what they are. But this isn't just going to be me telling you my guilty pleasures, this is also a collab with Vidme star, MariaTheGerman, and HoustonProductions1, a pretty good friend of mine that does movie reviews and stuff on YouTube and Vidme. Go check out their stuff, they are incredible people. That being said, I'm gonna let Maria go first, then I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit after that, then let Houston go, and then you're gonna hear me last. So, chapter times, description below. So that being said, Maria, take it away.
Oh, wayo! Hi everybody, it's MariaTheGerman here, and a big thank you to Frame by Frame once again for having me on this. I'm not quite sure, I probably will be losing all of my following, half at least, because my top 3 guilty pleasures are probably kind of embarrassing, but nonetheless I do enjoy them, so I have no regrets telling you these. Let's start. I don't know if there's a top 3, I don't know which one's the worst, because I suppose most people find these all a bit wrong, but let's start it off with Tomb Raider. So I know it's not a great movie at all, but because I am such a massive fan of the whole franchise. I love Tomb Raider, I love the games, I love playing them. I dressed up as Lara Croft when I was younger. I was a very dedicated fan of Lara Croft and Tomb Raider, so I of course went to see both films in the cinema, and I do have both on DVD, and yeah, it's one of my guilty pleasures. I love watching that film for whatever reason. It's my guilty pleasure. Please do not hate me. I know the films are not really that great, but I mean, you can't go wrong with Angelina Jolie though. I mean, they were quite fun to watch, right? Please, someone support me. Number 2, I suppose. Oh, these are getting worse and worse. I have to say Legally Blonde. I don't know if a lot of people maybe consider it as a guilty pleasure. I would probably. I love that film though. I remember when I was young and I watched it for the first time and I wanted to become a lawyer after I watched it. And every time I watch it, I just feel so empowered. I love it. No one can tell me they don't like Elle Woods. She is obviously representing the blondes. I'm joking, but I really enjoyed watching this film. It's definitely one of my guilty pleasures. I'm sure there's some of you out there who also enjoy Legally Blonde. You cannot tell me you don't. And then I suppose top 1 would have to be, oh, I don't know if I can say this. Number 1 would have to be High School Musical. Now, do not kill me, do not hate me, please don't unfollow me. But you need to know that back in the day, I used to sing, right? And I just loved watching this and singing along to it. It was very feel-good. I love a good feel-good movie, you know? It's very cheesy, of course. Gotta love a good Disney production. And I love singing along to the songs. So I have no shame of telling you that High School Musical is probably one of my big guilty pleasures. I haven't actually seen it in a long time. So when I was thinking of my guilty pleasures, I was like, oh my God, I need to watch all these films again. So I will go. You can excuse me, I'll go and watch all 3 of these films right now. And yeah, thank you so much once again to Frame by Frame for having me, and bye!
If you guys are interested, go check out Maria's channel on YouTube and on Vidme, MariaTheGerman. She does like gameplay videos and a lot of really cool Let's Plays. She's really funny, really awesome. Go check out her channel. And here's Houston's top 3 guilty pleasure movies.
Hey guys, it's Houston. Thanks for having me on again, Frame by Frame. Or Jacob. Do you call people by their username on YouTube, or do you call them by their real name? Sometimes it just feels wrong to call them by their real name. Feels like a sin. So I'm doing my top 3 guilty pleasure movies. Now, I could have done my top 3 underrated movies, meaning movies that I, like, but no one else likes. But instead, since you said guilty pleasure, I'm going with, like, movies that I know are bad, but I like them anyway. All right, so number 1, Pacific Rim isn't bad. I haven't thought of my choices yet, so I need to look it up. Hashtag unscripted. Okay, I'll go with this. All right, let's do this. Number 1, someone's using a buzzsaw outside. What? Number 1, Now You See Me. Now You See Me came out in 2013. I went to the theater to see it, and I just remember loving it so much. I used to be a magician when I was like 10 years old. I did all these magic tricks. I loved them. And I just think it's like such a fun movie. The cast is fun. The tricks are fun. It makes no sense. It's super dumb, but I don't know. I really enjoy it. Mark Ruffalo is good in it. That's a plus. I will never defend the second one, though. That's my only condition. Me and Drew saw the second one when he was here for the summer last year, and good Lord. Oh, just disaster. Okay, let's see. Number 2. Again, these are off the top of my head. Boom, boom, boom. What am I gonna choose? I'll go with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2, everyone hates. They say it's the worst movie ever made. It's horrible. It's the worst superhero movie, And yeah, I think it's real bad. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's as bad as everyone says. I like Andrew Garfield in the role. I'm kind of a sucker for like sappy romance in certain movies, and I really like his relationship with Gwen Stacy in that. Plus, you got some blonde Emma Stone. It's pretty good. And I do think this is a really good Spider-Man, about on par with the Tom Holland one. I think the costume looks great. They really modeled it after the comics, and the action, especially that first scene, the first like truck chase scene in New York in the streets, the buzzsaws going off again. That scene is great. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, stop judging me. Yes, the plot is all over the place. There's too many villains. Electro is horrible. Green Goblin is shoehorned in there for no reason. Yes, it's a bad movie. But I think the performances sell it. I really care about the characters. And yeah, I just think it's a lot of fun. All right, number 3, the last one. What am I going to do? I don't know. You know what? I'll go Fast and the Furious 6. Fast and Furious 6. Fast and Furious 6, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, all these movies are. They're like the dumbest. They're probably some of the dumbest movies, mainstream movies that are out there. But I just think it's so much fun. They've got a tank on the highway. They've got like the end scene where there's like an endless runway and they're just fighting on the plane. Then the cars hook onto the plane wings and then like they're like lifting up in the air. It's just kind of, you get my point. Yes, pretty much all the Fast and Furious movies are very dumb. But I mean, good Lord, they're like playing it with action figures in a sandbox. Like you're just clattering them together. You're like, and then he like jumped up in the sky and it was awesome. Oh, there's that bit where like The Rock, or no, it's Vin Diesel jumps from like the top of the truck across the highway and then catches Letty before she hits it's really good. It's dumb, but it's good. When people are talking about movies and they go like, oh, well, movies are just for entertainment. If it entertained me, if it was fun, then I think it was good. No, you're wrong. No, it was not good if it entertained you. But these are examples of movies where it entertained you and it was fun. It was not good, but it was fun. And I would rewatch it to have fun. I almost thought about putting Pacific Rim on this list, but then I was like, you know what? Pacific Rim is actually a good movie. Like for what it is, for like a summer blockbuster, it's well made, But so yeah, thanks for having me on again, Frame by Frame. This has been an HP1 thing. Yeah. Go subscribe to my channel. He'll put the links in the description. Bye.
So there you go. There were Houston's picks for his guilty pleasure movies. If you love this channel, you're probably going to love Houston's channel too. Houston does a lot of like movie reviews and movie analyses and stuff like that, so definitely go give Houston a check out and a subscribe. And even though Houston and I don't agree on every movie, I think we can both agree that Suicide Squad was a cinematic masterpiece, so there you go. That being said, here's my top 3 favorite guilty pleasure movies. On my list, it says Green Lantern, and I can go into several reasons as to why I actually enjoy the Green Lantern movie, even though I'm in the minority. But then I was like, oh yeah, I've already done a video on that a while ago and why it didn't work for like the masses, even though it worked for me. So instead, I'm opting to go with Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 gets a lot of hate, particularly for one scene in particular involving Peter Parker dancing on the streets of New York. And Venom's total crap in the movie. I mean, there's no way around that. There are absolutely stupid moments in Spider-Man 3, and there are really bad moments in Spider-Man 3. The first 2 acts of Spider-Man 3 are honestly, in my opinion, pretty solid. You have a lot of great character development, you have a lot of emotions going on, you have a really interesting plot, plus the action's like really cool. You have Sandman's introduction, which is great in my opinion, and you also have that fight with the new Goblin, Harry Osborn on like his hoverboard, and Spider-Man. That's great. But yeah, the third act does fall a little bit short for me, but it's still nonetheless fun to watch. At number 2, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of like the first Transformers movie. Revenge of the Fallen, not so much. Age of Extinction, I hate it so much. I think The Dark of the Moon is actually pretty fun. It's not a good movie by any means, like it's definitely not a good movie, but Michael Bay knows how to deliver on action, and because he can do that, he makes the third act of this movie something in which I call stupid fun. I mean, granted, I like substance and style mixed within my films, but this is kind of the exception for me. But it's really cool just seeing like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, which are really the only two that matter, fighting against Sentinel and Megatron, explosions everywhere, and because I'm a dude, I like explosions. Like, if I'm really bored on a day and I'm just really looking for a movie to watch to have some fun with, Dark of the Moon's gonna be my go-to. In all honesty, you guys are gonna laugh at me even when I tell you this. Probably one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies of all time is G.I. Joe Retaliation. But in all honesty, G.I. Joe Retaliation I actually thought was pretty fun. Is it good? Well, that's up to the person watching it. I'd say probably not, but it's just so entertaining. It's the epitome of a popcorn flick. It's the epitome of a blockbuster that people go see, they sit down for 2 hours, they have some fun, and then they walk out of the theater. But this movie is just goofy fun. You have The Rock in this movie, you have Channing Tatum very briefly in this movie, and you have freaking Bruce Willis in this movie. It's a recipe for success. You also have a blind ninja fighting another ninja that isn't blind, but he's evil, and that's really cool to watch. I can't deny it. I grew up watching the G.I. Joe show as a kid. I used to play with G.I. Joes as a kid, so seeing them all come to life and stuff on a screen with like The Rock and Bruce Willis, I guess it's just the fan in me that's kind of like, that's pretty cool. I can get behind that. But yeah, those are my top 3 guilty pleasure movies. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you enjoyed these movies and don't hate me too much after all of this. That being said though, what are your top 3 favorite guilty pleasure movies? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Frame by Frame. Remember the name, and I'll see you in the next Frame by Frame film review.